as we finish up this last week, let's go ahead and jump on the scales and see how you ladies did after last week. Secret Encouraging Santa, all those endorphins running through your body with all the encouragement and all the happiness. Let's see how you did last week. All right, I have some scanning. So coming into week 10, after 9 full weeks, in 7th place is Miss Mila, down 2.1 pounds, 0.88%. In 6th place, down 2.4 pounds, 1.46%, Jenna. In 5th place, down 4.8 pounds, 2.16%, Jean. In 4th place, down 12.8 pounds, 5.72%, Amy. In 3rd place, down 14.8 pounds, 7.03%, Janine. 2nd place, down 19.4 pounds, 8.06%, Natasha. Awesome job. 1st place, Natasha, you are almost down 20 pounds. You're approaching 20 pounds, girl. I'm like, what? Look at Natasha go. Like, anyway, awesome job. And pregnant and cooking a baby and being a mom and doing all the things, like whatever. Yeah. 1st place, down 28.6 pounds, almost at 30 pounds, 9.57%, Sarah. Awesome, awesome job. But this week, as we come into Thanksgiving, as we come into the holiday season, as we come into all the things, I feel like tonight's call is very timely and it lines up really well with what we're about to walk into. Because one of the things that none of us are going to get out of on this journey, none of us, and we're all going to deal with it at different times. There's not a magical time that you deal with it here, or you deal with it there. We're all going to deal with it at different times, but make no mistake, like we are all going to deal with it. We are all going to have this happen. And so I will tell you, it happened far quicker than I thought it was going to. And that is negative people. Negative people. Bullies, food pushers, negative Nancy's, people with opinions on the size of your butt, your weight loss journey, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, like all the things. And, opinions. One of the best quotes I ever heard on people's opinions is they're like buttholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink. I was like, yeah, like totally true, right? And so the sad part is, and sometimes people think that just because you have people around you that love you means you're not going to have negative things said. And that's just not true. Because when people say something negative about your weight loss journey, the truth is it's never about you. It's always about them. It's always about their insecurities, where they're at. And we've got to get to a place where we know who we are, we know where we're going, we know why we're doing this, period, end of story. And so, because I know that all of you are going to face this at different times on your journey, I want you to be prepared for it when it happens. And if someone would have said, Carmen, when do you think you'll get someone who's negative? I would have maybe guessed when I got down closer to my goal, but I never would have guessed that it would have happened so soon. Again, all of us will deal with this, but many of us will deal with it sooner than we think we will. And what I will tell you is, in my journey of losing 161 pounds, going from 288 down to, in the 120s, there was only one person in my entire life who was never negative. And that was my husband. Even my own mother, who loves me dearly. I have some of the most amazing girlfriends on the planet. Even my girlfriends Uh, like everybody I know except for my husband was negative. And we'll talk about what that looked like. But again, you have to be willing to do this for an audience of one. It has to be, okay, here's where I'm going, here's what I'm doing. And as long as you, if you're, for those of you that are married, as long as you and your spouse are in agreement about what your goals are, everybody else can go fly a freaking kite. Because first and foremost, their opinion is none of your business. What someone else thinks of the size of your butt is none of your business. And the last time I checked, did the person who has the opinion pay your bills? Did they buy your clothes? And it's almost this epidemic nowadays where we put so much stock into what other people think about what we're doing. And I can only talk on this from experience. I am a recovering people pleaser. I was a big, big, big people pleaser. Like I did not want people to think badly of me. I didn't want people to talk about me. I didn't want people to say things behind my back. And so I would say or do things to please people so that they would like me or not talk about me. And what I found out is it doesn't matter what you do, people are still going to talk. People are still going to talk. Like the only way people aren't going to talk about you is if you like never do anything and you never do nothing with your life. And what kind of life is that? Because if you do well financially, people are going to talk. Heck, if you don't do well financially and you're broke as a joke, people are going to talk. If you're overweight, people are going to talk. If you're walking in a slinky dress, people are going to talk. If you pig out, people are going to talk. If you eat a salad with lemon water, people are going to talk. The one thing I've learned is no matter what size I've been, people always have opinions. In your life, your goals cannot be dictated around what they think. And the first time I dealt with this, was I had lost like 60 pounds. So again, I was still well over 200 pounds. 288 minus 60 is like 220, 218. And we were getting ready to go on a vacation. It was a vacation that we always do in Florida with like this couple families. And one of my girlfriends showed up. I hadn't told her I was losing weight. She was overweight. Like, and then like, when do you say to someone who's overweight that you're losing weight? Like, hey, by the way, I'm losing weight. Are you? Like, you just don't volunteer that, right? Because you don't want to make them feel bad. You don't want to make them feel insecure. So you just don't say nothing. So I hadn't said nothing. So we pull in, I'm down 60 pounds. And by the way, I had already made a decision that like I wasn't buying a ton of clothes because I was like saving my money until I got to my goal because all the clothes that I was going to be getting into, it was like a drive by. I started off in a size 22. So size 20s, I was going by size 20. I wasn't stopping. 18s, 16s, 14s, 12s, 10s, 8s. Like I wasn't going to buy a lot of clothes because I was going by them. It was like, hey, size 12, buy size 12. Hey, size whatever, buy. Like, so I'm like, no, when I get to my goal, that's when I'll spend like, $5,000 on clothes. Uh, Whatever. I just prayed all my shoes still fit me because that would have been like a travesty. But that's when I'll go out and buy all the things, not when I'm losing weight. And so we get out of the car. Of course, my clothes are bigger on me. And my girlfriend was like shocked. And throughout that week, she ignored me. She was upset with me. She basically told me I had no more weight to lose. And if I kept going, I was going to look sickly and all this stuff. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, I am still obese. I'm still 220 pounds. Like, no stranger would look at me and be like, oh, you so skinny. Like, nobody would have said that. Anybody that didn't know me would have saw me and been like, well, you need to lose weight, right? But because she was comparing where she'd seen me last and where I was, and it was a shock, and it really, for a moment, if I'm being honest, it rattled me because she had an opinion on I wasn't eating early enough. I wasn't eating often enough. I was probably starving myself. And this same girlfriend, all the way to the end of my journey, she was convinced I had weight loss surgery and didn't tell her. It wasn't until she came to my house because she had looked into getting weight loss surgery. She eventually did. It wasn't until she came to my house and she saw me eat. And she saw how much I ate. And she was like, okay, there's no way if she had weight loss surgery, she could eat this much because she eats a lot of food. And like, okay, she must not have had weight loss surgery. But the whole time she was convinced of it, judged everything I was doing. Some of my best girlfriends would be like, well, when are you gonna stop? You're gonna look like your legs are like nothing. There's nothing to you. You're gonna look sickly. You're gonna look skinny. People see me and they're, are you okay? Are you okay? Like you just lost this weight so fast. I'm just so worried about you. And here was the part that like got me. I was a mother of two. I had a toddler and a newborn. And as I was gaining the weight, I was certainly setting myself up to not live as long, to not be as healthy, to not be an in the game kind of mom. No one pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Carmen, we're concerned that you're eating too much junk. Could you lay off the junk because we're really concerned that, your kids aren't going to like." No one pulled me aside and said anything when I was gaining weight. But all of a sudden, I decided to start losing weight and everyone's so concerned. And I was just like, what is wrong with this picture? Why? Because when I was gaining weight, it didn't rub anybody's insecurities. The truth is, no one was really that concerned about me. It was pressing on. I went from being one of the biggest people in the room to being one of the smallest. And, that affected people. Okay. And so you are going to run into this. And at the end of the day, this is why we track our weight. And eventually, when you start getting closer to your goal, you'll start tracking your body weight, your body fat percentage, because that told me the truth. I knew if I was at 25% body fat, I was not too skinny. If I was at 20% body fat, I wasn't too skinny. So no matter what anybody said to me, I could look at the facts, I could look at the numbers and be like, nope, that is your problem. That is not the truth. I could combat their feelings, how they were feeling with the truth, with the numbers, because numbers don't lie, but our feelings often do. Our feelings often do. And I had seen people lose weight and take it too far and get too skinny. And I didn't want to be that person. And I can remember going to my husband one day in tears. And I'm like, babe, everyone keeps telling me I need to stop. I'm too skinny. I'm going to look like a cancer patient if I keep going. And like, but I'm not at my goal. What do I do? Do you think I look unhealthy? And he said, Carmen, you do not listen to any of them. He goes, you are not unhealthy. You're not doing anything unhealthy. We can see the numbers. And I could see myself naked. Hello? Like they were seeing me with clothes on. I could see myself naked. I knew where the fat was. I knew, and for me, I did not, all the way up until a size 6, I still had my belly. It wasn't, I skipped a size 4. I went from a size 6 to a size 2. And it wasn't until I got to the size 2 that my stomach got flat. My stomach was the last thing to go. It was the last thing to flatten out. But finally, those last 5, 7 pounds, my stomach went flat. But it was the last thing for me personally, and typically for women. Women, one of the first places we gain is our stomach. And one of the last places to get small again is our stomach. I'm like, oh, what's up with that, Lord? So anyway, and so when you deal with this, again, when you know who you are, where you're going, why you're doing it, it doesn't affect you nearly as much. But I want to give you a couple different things that you can do when this happens. The thing that you never want to do is defend yourself. You never want to defend yourself because when our natural like knee-jerk reaction when this stuff happens is to defend. Right? So someone's like, "Wow, what are you doing? You look really skinny. Is this healthy? Like, or should you be doing this?" Or whatever they say, right? Our natural knee-jerk reaction is to defend. Well, no, I'm doing this. Well, I'm actually doing this and I'm drinking this and I'm doing this and I'm blah, 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 blah. But when we defend, it naturally plants doubt inside of our brains when we defend ourselves. And it can be something like we had a girl from one of our seasons. She went over to her cousin's house after she had lost weight. She was feeling so good and she was wearing her workout pants and her sports bra and she pulled up to get her son and her cousin said to her, "Wow, you've lost a lot of weight. Are you healthy?" And she's excited. She's like thinking people are like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you." And she's like, "Yeah, your hair looks way thinner." This affected her so much that she went home and ordered hair stuff. But prior to that comment from her relative, she had not even thought her hair was thinner. You don't ever take advice, or I'm sorry, you don't ever take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. And most of the people that say stuff, you would never want to trade health with them. It's like somebody who is really healthy isn't going to criticize you. It's like if you're trying to start a business, someone who's really has a successful business isn't going to criticize you. They're going to encourage you. The people that are at where you want to be are going to encourage you, not tear you down. It's the ones that are down below where you want to be health wise that are going to say these things. And so you just look at them and you do not say this out loud. You don't be like, well, honey, I don't want your body, so I ain't listening to you. No, you don't. That's rude. That's dishonorable. You just like, you can look at someone and be like, no, I don't want their health. So why would I listen to what they have to say? Like, not everybody has a right to speak into your life. My business mentor was not my spiritual mentor at all. She helped me in business. She was not my spiritual mentor. Does that make sense? Like, I had a different person who had what I wanted in that department, and she was my spiritual mentor. Now, business, I would listen to her. I'd coach with her. I'd do classes with her, but it was on business. It wasn't on my relationship with the Lord. Does that make sense? I have certain mentors that are parent mentors to me, but they're not business mentors to me. Does that make sense? So I find people who have what I want in a certain area and I listen to them in that area. Not everybody can speak into your life in certain things. Unless they have what you want, they shouldn't be allowed to speak into your life in that area. So who said they had one?
Oh, that was me. Um, One I've heard is you're over 40, you'll never be able to keep it off.
Well, I've heard people say that. And what I'm going to tell you, Janine, is I do not receive that at all. But thanks for chiming in. Listen, I just had somebody tell me that enjoy my son snuggling because when he gets older, he's not going to keep doing that. And I literally just looked at them and said, I don't receive that at all. In fact, I'm believing and praying for a lifelong snuggling son. So I'm sorry that it worked out for you that way, but I don't receive that. Like, no, you take your own issues in your own freaking thing. Don't put your issues on me, right? And so why would you believe because they couldn't do it, so now you can't do it? And so it's okay to be like, no, you know what? I've heard people say that, but I have some people that I know have done it, and so I'm believing that I'm also gonna do it. So anyway, how are you doing? I say what I say, I don't take it on, I don't defend, and then here's your get out of jail free card. Always turn it back on them. Always, how are you doing? How's work going? Okay, someone give me a rude one. Be rude. Someone give me like just a rude one. Tell me I look like I just got done with cancer. People have said that to clients. You just look so sickly, like you're a cancer patient. Go ahead, someone say it just like that to me. Being
You look like you just got done with cancer treatments.
wow. Well, Janine, that was rude. And I'm gonna go ahead and rewind the conversation and pretend like you just didn't say that. How are you doing? Listen, if someone's gonna be an a-hole to me, like no, like we talk people. Okay, people can only treat us with the way what we tolerate. So we get what we tolerate. And I don't care who you are, I'm not gonna tolerate someone being rude to me and speaking death over me. I'm not gonna tolerate that. You don't get to do that. It's called putting a boundary in the sand. And I can honor you. I'm not gonna come back at Janine and criticize her or throw mud back at her, but I am gonna let her know that's rude and that's not okay.
What
So
if like you hear like I haven't heard people like say this, but like I'm just imagining in my head because I have gained so much weight that like maybe my husband's like family, like extended family have like probably said in their head like, whoa, she's gained a bunch of weight, or you get stares. How should I feel about that, you know?
you really can't we all really have to not do our best to not perceive things that we don't know have happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't do any relationship any good to perceive things or to think things into existence if we don't know they've happened. So you
Hmm.
can suspect it, but then it's but you got to be careful with that because when you start
Hmm.
to think something happened, you don't have proof. Now it starts to change the relationship.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? We start to be
Hmm.
guarded and we do whatever. So it's just like, you know what, Carmen, you have no proof of that. It could be true, or you could be being paranoid. So
Mhm.
you have no proof. So just you're going to pretend like that's a figment of your imagination unless you have proof otherwise. And these are the
Mhm.
conversations I'll have with myself, right? Because there's been times, Jenna, where my intuition has been true. And there's been times where I've been completely FOS, which is full of shit, right? Like I've
Mhm.
made it all up and it's been nothing. I've had both happen. So what I've learned through time is not to get myself all worked up just because I think this is going on. And so
Mhm.
I would just, but it's talking yourself off that ledge because you know how the mind goes. Once you have
Yeah.
the thought that this could be happening, we create things. Like our mind is
Mhm.
so good at like creating and thinking and being paranoid. It's how our brain works. And so yeah. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't confront it unless you know it's happened. And if it's like, again, if they say something to you, you try to start losing weight and they're like, well, Jenna, you look fine. Why are you losing weight? You know what? It's not about how I look. It's really how I feel. And I'm really loving the way I'm feeling in this program. But I really appreciate your concern. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
Mhm.
And you just, again, I don't ever take on what they say. I don't
Mhm.
take on because listen, if someone's happy at 300 pounds, which I don't believe anybody's happy at 300 pounds, that's on them. That's not me. They don't have to explain themselves to me, and I don't have to explain myself to them. It's about how I want to feel, and it's about me feeling good in my own skin, period. And it's not about a size, it's not about a number on a scale. It's about me being my best, being healthy, and showing up for myself and setting a good example for my kids. And if someone's got a problem with that, they can really go F off
Mhm.
if I'm just being honest with you. And I don't care who it is. Like, F you and the horse you rode in on. And I'm going to be nice
Mhm.
about it because I don't want to be rude and I don't want to sow those seeds. But you've really just got to have that stance and become really good at drawing boundaries in the sand. Again, we get what we tolerate. My question for you guys this week is last week you guys got to encourage each other. Okay? And it's really important to be able to encourage each other, but, and to be able to encourage other people. But one of the things that's also really important is for you to be able to encourage yourself. Just as if you were sitting across the table from you. And I find it really powerful when you can encourage yourself in third person. So when I say, Carmen, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Look at this. You just finished week 9. Look at how far you come. Look at what you're doing. Like I envision that I am across the table from Carmen and I am just telling her how proud I am of the woman she's becoming, of how far she's come, of what she's done. You don't have to do it in third person if you think it's weird. I just think it's more powerful and less weird.
So you've been doing this for 9 weeks. You've almost lost 30 pounds. You didn't quite get to your goal of losing 30, and that's okay. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. So right now, I've been on a elliptical bike for 31 minutes, and I've only burned 126 calories. So that does not pay for the cheesecake that you've imported in from New York City. So no cheesecake. Here we are, and Amy's here. Yay! So welcome back, Amy. So I'm going to keep talking to myself and encouraging myself to just don't think other people's opinions are none of my business. I don't need to worry about what other people are thinking about me, that I've lost too much weight, that I haven't lost enough weight. I just got to be me, and I got to keep doing that every single day, and including Thanksgiving, not just on the other days of the week. And yeah,
Um, really, Jean, I wanna encourage you because you're doing this for 9 weeks. Even I'm not proud with the scale yet, but hopefully, eventually, I think I will. Um, sorry. Um, I wanted to say that keep doing what you're doing. Even I have like some discomfort, like some pain, but I want you to keep going and to have like a better result. And what else? Oh, for the Thanksgiving part, I'm not planning. I know for sure I'm not planning of going anywhere. I know I'm gonna stay on plan and don't fall for it, like for the for the holidays.
So, Jenna, you are stronger than any challenge that comes your way. Every decision that you make is a chance to move closer to your goals and proving to yourself just how capable you are. Stay focused, stay consistent, trust the process. Especially this Thanksgiving, remind yourself that gratitude doesn't mean indulging more. You have the strength to stay in control and make choices that align with your goals. Temptations don't define you, your discipline and commitment define you. So enjoy the celebration mindfully and stay focused on the bigger picture. And especially when before you have been tempted, but cheating does not serve the strong, determined woman you're becoming. So just do your best.
All right, hey Tosh. You have been crushing it, as you know. This is stuff I will only say in my head. I would never say this out loud, right? Because it's like boasting and we don't do that. But since you have to do it, you got to do it. You're doing amazing. You're getting up early every single day before everybody else. And you have such wonderful support. Your husband gets up every day with you. And so I want you to just keep pushing forward and making sure that you don't feel guilty ever for the things you're doing, making sure you stay focused because you're building an empire, you're a boss, and there's so many things ahead that we are excited about. So stay focused, stay excited, and whenever you're feeling like your energy's running out, make sure you just look at your board. Those vision boards actually work, and I never used them before, but they're amazing. So good job at everything yes. Thank you.
Amy, I just wanted to tell you how healthy you're looking and how proud I am of you. This is definitely looks like a journey that most people don't go on, or they quit after a little while, and you're really sticking to it, and you're getting up early every day and showing up for yourself in ways that you haven't done in years. And even when you go through the flu during this program and 30 weeks of pregnancy, you are still set on your goal of becoming the healthy and fit and active mom and wife that you have set out to be. And I'm just so inspired by you, and I admire you, and you've really done a great job. Keep going.
Janine, you know that you're a rock star. You know that you are powerful. You know that you can freaking do this, and you are going to get to your goal, and you're going to keep the weight off. Age is only a number, so do not let those thoughts come in that remind you that you're over 40 or over 45, because it doesn't matter. There are people out there kicking ass who are in their 60s, and it does not matter. So you are doing amazing, and you will get to goal because you're going to stay consistent and persistent, and you're going to stay on track. And you are going to avoid all the Thanksgiving foods. Thankfully, you are cooking, so therefore you can choose what you cook. And yeah, and even though you were up a little bit today, that's not going to happen again. There will not be another time the rest of this program that scale goes up. And
Good job. As we come into this 10th week, it's, not only encouraging each other and those around you, which is super important, but it's able to encourage yourself, because when you are able to encourage yourself, again, it's like giving water in the desert. And no human gets, like most humans don't get enough encouragement. But when you feel encouraged, when you feel like you're going somewhere, when you feel like you're making progress, when you feel like there's a purpose tied to this goal, you can go so much further, so much faster than when we are criticizing and condemning. Listen, working with people, not only in the health arena, but the business arena for over 20 years, this is one thing that any high achiever does. They've had this revelation, they've had this realization, and they understand that if they're not encouraging themselves, it doesn't mean they're not tough on themselves. It doesn't mean they don't challenge themselves. It doesn't mean they don't demand more, but it also means they can have a high standard while also encouraging themselves. They're not constantly critiquing and condemning and being their biggest critic. No, they're their biggest cheerleader. And I can't wait to see how your momentum grows as you step into this new role inside of your life of resigning from being the biggest critic and stepping into being the biggest cheerleader. And